Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at player props here for you guys on Wednesday's NBA slate. Got 3 games to choose from. We also have a best bets video up from all these games, so make sure to check that out by liking and subscribing to that page and continuing to follow along with us throughout this postseason. Also want you to head to thelines.com. We are throwing the picks up on the site, and we have our odds finder tool on there. You can make sure that you're getting the best odds available to you from all of these books, giving us bets in the NBA this postseason. Nate, let's jump right into your first NBA player prop, one of the show favorites, Mr. Jrue Holiday.
Yeah, and I think we want to quickly recap how we did last night, which was a 2-2 split. KD did not get 33.5 points assists. Book went off, but we did hit that parlay with KD getting 25. You were right. Kawhi did get over 36.5 points rebounds, despite the Suns making some good adjustments to get the win and to slow them down in the second half. Julius Randle does go under 23.5 points because the Knicks got blowed out. And that meant Jalen Brunson did not get 26, although he was on pace for it. So, yeah, looking ahead here on Wednesday, with Giannis doubtful, take that with a grain of salt, sure. But I'm looking at Jrue Holiday to really impact this game in a lot of ways and not just score. His scoring prop is 20 points, but I like 14.5 rebounds and assists more at plus odds, plus 110 FanDuel, and would consider 2 steals and blocks from who the players just surveyed as the best defender in the NBA by a wide margin. Look, it's the playoffs. He steps up. He plays basically the entire game if they need him to, and they're definitely going to need him to, with Giannis either hobbled or out. He played 40-plus minutes in 6 straight against Boston. He only actually got 33, right, or 34 against the Heat in Game 1. Still 7 rebounds and 16 assists, and shot kind of poorly, but had 16 points. So the peripheral stats are there. You look at his last 11 regular season without Giannis: 5 rebounds, 9.5 assists, 1.8 stocks. His usage rate spikes to 29%. He averaged 15 rebounds, assists in those 2 against Miami without Giannis. Just the ball in his hands a lot more. But I expect the rebounds to go up more because I'm talking under in this game, 219. It's Miami. You guards got to rebound. Everybody's got to get in there, right, to fight. And his last 2 without Giannis, Jrue actually went up to 8.5 rebounds in the playoffs. Since the finals in 21, averages 6 boards, 8 assists, 2.5 stocks, and that's with a lower usage rate. With the ball in his hands less because Giannis has been playing in all those games. He also shot the ball better at home. But look, this is more about his defense, his impact, and just being the initiator of a different look offense if the Bucks aren't able to play through Giannis as much.
Yeah, no, I'm with it. I think the points are high, obviously, because of Giannis's status, and people are aware that Jrue's likely to score more if Giannis isn't in there. But I think even if you add the points and then Giannis doesn't play, but maybe you go the points, rebounds, and assists, it's not as good as of juice as what with what you're saying. I think because it's high, I might consider it. The Giannis affects his points more than anything, I think, is what we're saying here. And so you get with the odds that you're getting and the juice back on 14.5 rebounds and assists, not having to worry about if he plays or not because he's going to be doing his thing. Obviously, a few more rebounds available if Giannis doesn't play, so still helps his bets without Giannis in the lineup for him. But I agree with the undertake in general. So the points are something that are a little bit less less likely, basically, and I like the odds that you get for the other ones. So I'm going to move on to AD here, and I'm going to go under on his points, rebounds, and assists because for some reason he's got like 2, and they're basically banking on him getting 2 assists. I know he got 3 in the first game, but it's like not what he does. So I wouldn't continue to bank on him to get those assists. So I like adding that to the points and rebounds there. And it is just a normal minus 110 on draft, or minus 115 rather, on DraftKings for him to get under 41 points, rebounds, and assists combined. And it's a little bit more about the flow of this game that I do like it to be a tad bit slower. I don't think the Lakers want to slow it down necessarily. I'm sure they're happy to go and go and go, but I think you'll see the Grizzlies more reluctant to go nearly as fast. So there's going to be a few less opportunities, a few less possessions than the 104.5 pace that they played at in that first game, which I think it will slow down a bunch, or 101.5. It's been averaging 104.5 pace that these two teams have played at in their last 5. But that's when they have both LeBron and Ja Morant in the game. So, like I said, I see it going much slower. He only got 37 in that first game. And look, we know that the Grizzlies are much worse down low on defense when they don't have their starting center and their backup small ball and starting sort of small ball center in Brandon Clark, who comes in there and helps out a lot as well. Both those guys out for this series, and Clark for the season. So I think even though you're getting a little bit of a bloated total because they know that is where I'm coming from. And as a result, even though the Grizzlies have been a little bit worse against centers over the course of this last 15, 20 games that they haven't had their two big guys in, I do see a bit more of that of the defense being focused on that, and which is what I talk about in the best bets video as well. A lot more double teams from annoying guys like Dylan Brooks on top of having Jaren Jackson Jr. behind AD at that point, and also I could see, hear me out, I could see some Kenny Lofton coming in. Who bothers Anthony Davis more than a giant booty big man who's 6'7", who's just on his hip and really controlling his center of gravity a bit more? Give him 10 minutes. Just give it a shot is what I'm saying here. And maybe you'll find something with it. But I do like him to go under just because maybe he doesn't even play the 37 minutes. I do like an alternate total for the Lakers to be able to win this game. There's going to be fewer shots going up, I believe, for the Grizzlies in general. So the points, rebounds, and assists, just throw him in there because he's not going to be diming up anyway.
Yeah, I wanted to look at Austin Reeves or D'Angelo Russell in this game as well.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of occurred to me that the Lakers just have so many weapons right now. It's really hard to predict who's going to get their totals. So I think taking an under on LeBron or AD, I know you considered both, because they are going to kind of start to pace themselves for this playoff run, right? They don't necessarily have to go out and get 40 in this first round if Memphis is a wounded duck, and they're going to be able to hopefully get, they're going to try to win this in 5 games or less because they're going to need that rest. But I think they can do it with a balanced effort. So
yeah,
my second pick is also in this Bucks Heat game, and I guess it's also rebounds, assists, because I don't really trust points. But Bam Adebayo to get 13 of those bad boys is pretty short odds because it seems incredibly likely. If you want better odds, a double-double is slightly plus money here, plus 105. Same thing, basically, for him to get 10 rebounds. I do think he'll be scoring. He's scoring 20 points a game his last 8 against the Bucks. So Brook Lopez has not been stopping him, even in the playoffs against the Bucks in his career. 17 points per game, 10.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. And I know without Giannis, his assists dipped to just 1.5 the last 2. Those games in Miami were mucked up. But, Bam in the playoffs, averaging nearly 4 dimes a game. In general, playing 38 minutes. I just think that that's how Miami's going to be running their offense a lot more. We talk about Tyler Hero being out, Kyle Lowry not playing as much. It's going to be a lot of Bam facilitating once again. We talked about that in the playing game as well. I just like what he can bring to the table as a facilitator, and he did average 12.5 boards, those two, without Giannis in there. So if Giannis isn't fully healthy or he's out, this definitely going to be a little bit easier to rebound against Milwaukee, and that's why I trust Bam to get a double-double.
Yeah, the double-double is pretty good juice for him, for sure. Obviously, the Bucks are a difficult team to rebound against, but I continue to like the fact that this is a similar situation to what Bam was facing when he played the Hawks, and he played Clint Capella, who's also much taller and longer than he is, similar to Brolo, and as a result, not a really good matchup for him to be standing too close to the basket. As a result, standing at the extended foul line and above is a great place for him to be passing to those guys cutting, or waiting for guys to cut through the lane, take away that space down low, and suck in the defense towards the basket. Now you've got open shooters for Bam who can pass from the foul line either way. So I think it's a pretty good spot for him. And I'm just going to segue right into Gabe Vincent, who we've been sort of just dancing around talking about him because he is the starting point guard and the biggest beneficiary of Tyler Hero not playing over the course of this season, as his stats just balloon without him in the game. So you're not getting great juice here on the points at 9.5, which I'm going over, and I am going to throw probably about 1.5 units on that at minus 122 on FanDuel. But I'm also going to sprinkle a little bit on the 15 plus points for Gabe Vincent, which I found on FanDuel as well, for plus 380 on that one. That's good for at least half a unit unit on that one because that's what he averages without Tyler Hero this season in 33 minutes per game. And that's over the course of about 18 games this year that he's played without Tyler Hero, doing super well. 2 of those games were against the Milwaukee Bucks that he played without Tyler Hero, and those were full roster games. Like there was nobody really missing. Maybe Chris Middleton didn't play in one of those, but like both teams were playing and trying to win in the month of January in those 2 games, and he averaged 27.5 points in 41 minutes in those games. So do with that what you will. I'm going to say that I think his prop is still very low. Feel very good about the 9.5 points, but the usage rate also goes up to 20% when Hero is not in the game. It's only at 15 when Hero is playing with him, and obviously about 9 less minutes a game as well. But he basically gets 9 points a game whether Hero is playing or not. So if you're saying he only needs 1 more to get over his prop in this game, I'm going to take that and I'm going to juice it to get it to about 4-1 on my money because I do expect him to continue to do what he did in the first game, which was also against Milwaukee, obviously for 15 points in that one and a bunch of assists in 33 minutes. If you want him to get 3 threes as well, that's up to plus 190 on DraftKings, which I know is a good amount, but he did hit that in the first game as well. Went 4 for 5 from deep, and if he's going to be he took 5 threes in a game that Hero played 20 minutes and had 4 threes himself. So you do the math. I think he's going to get at least a couple more 3-point attempts. If he needs to go 3 for 7 from 3 for me to get close to 2-1 on my money to take that, also feeling pretty good about that bet for Mr. Vincent tonight.
Yeah, I would tread lightly with the 15 plus or anything above these totals. I mean, Kyle Lowry didn't play in either of those Milwaukee games in January. He's also questionable tonight, so we don't know how much of a go he's going to be. But there's a chance that the usage without Hero does go more to Lowry or Strus. I mean, Vincent has been a really low usage guy when he's gotten in there with Lowry out most of the year. And 9-10 points is pretty much where he's at average-wise. So I would look more to chase the minutes and again add rebounds, assists in this game because I don't trust a lot of scoring and I'm hoping for that under.
Well, I agree. I think you can hope for the under with guys like Jimmy Butler not getting 29 points in this game, where the focus, I think, will be a little bit more on he and Bam. And I don't think it'll go towards Gabe Vincent at this point, where like Tyler Hero's attention that he was getting from the Bucks, I don't know that it's necessarily going to be directed back towards Gabe Vincent. So Strus is at 13.5 points. Also like that, he also is a giant beneficiary of Hero not being in there. Maybe you like the rebounds for Mr. Strus as well, who always surprises us when you give him the minutes at how good of a rebounder he is. So both angles I like. But yeah, I think Gabe Vincent to do something that he's done 3 of the last 4 times that he's played Milwaukee, and all 3 times were without Tyler Hero playing. I feel pretty good about him getting the 15 as well. So with the juice, either way, going to be a pretty interesting game, if not a lot of points. So that is all the time we have for you. Please make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along. Check out our best bets video as well. And we're coming back to you each and every weekday. So until we see you next, happy betting.